Welcome to another episode of Net Six and Chill. All good things must come to an end, and just like this season, this is going to be one of our premiere episodes of looking back and and reflecting on the season. And since there's only two teams left, we all know who they are. Some may say that they shouldn't be there. Certain managers were like, "We were the better team." Certain fans were like, we should have been to the final, but since they're not there, we can actually celebrate that. So, in the light of good events and some happiness that's been spread to this world by knocking out certain teams in London, I introduce you my fellow host, Alexander. What are you wearing, sir?
I'll be honest, the past 45 seconds I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. That was like the weirdest prologue ever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, let the man have his poetic moment.
Did you have a special K for breakfast? Like, what the fuck was that? I don't understand. Yeah, it's been a long season, and hey, if you're a Crystal Palace fan, it's a good day to be a Crystal Palace fan today.
It is.
Congrats to them to winning. Congrats to them for winning their first ever major title. That's incredible. It seems like there's a pattern. We had I think Go Ahead Eagles in the Netherlands won the cup too, and they'll be in Europe. Bologna in Italy won the cup. So it seems like football's back, and I'm happy about it.
There
Can't
we
be
go.
upset. I don't know.
That's what you wearing, man?
What are you wearing?
Oh yeah, I'm wearing Copenhagen, the Danish
Mm.
team. I
Yep.
think that's the correct
Well,
pronunciation.
I was gonna say that kit looked pretty Icelandic, and so
Hassan would know about some of the Icelandic countries.
yeah, I was gonna say, did you have some shark for breakfast?
I had shark for dinner. No, yeah, I love. It's it's really hard to actually get those teams from like Denmark, Sweden,
Oh, yeah.
Finland, like their kids.
They
I
don't ship
found-
anywhere, man.
Yeah, unless you find some guy on eBay pushing them from
Is that where you got it from?
a random spot. This one I think I actually got from CFS. I was lucky enough
Oh.
they had a copy, but it wasn't cheap, man. They don't put them on sale.
No,
It's
no,
not like
those kits are really hard to get.
yeah, it's not like Celta Vigo where like halfway through a season their kits are $40 and you can get like
Well,
20 of them.
halfway through the season, they're already making this kit for next year.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, I love this kit. It doesn't have any patches, so it's original.
And
Cool.
alongside we have Edhar. It seems like a Brazilian kit, Edgar, again.
It
You're
is.
developing a
It's
team.
yeah. It's like a Corinthians retro remake from a couple seasons ago. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of kits to bring out that aren't at least representing a dog shit team up in north of England.
Maybe you should
Okay,
get
what
more
does-
kits then.
What does the sponsor mean? Neochemica? Is that what it says?
Yeah, I think it's like a chemical company in
So you're
Brazil.
just sponsoring drug addicts.
Nah, Neochemicals we have for breakfast, son.
I'm wearing a Atletico Bilbao kit from, I don't know what year this is.
Oh yeah, I remember the green one. Yeah, I think it's like maybe
Yeah, this is from
2020,
I think this
2021.
kit represents like the Basque country, like their heritage and how they are very different from the mainland. So,
Well, we will be in Bosque on Wednesday,
oof,
for a good reason.
Who is this we you speak of?
Me at a pub.
what kind of pub?
Looking forward to that. I'm going to an Irish pub that's owned by Liverpool fans. I'm gonna wear a Man United kit and tell them to go.
Swivel on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Can you imagine Man United winning a trophy in a Liverpool pub? It's amazing.
Pretty sure it's
Great
happened
feeling.
before. Pretty
Huh?
sure it's happened many times before.
Not the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Bilbao will be in Champions League next year. They confirmed their spot.
Wow.
there we go.
That's exciting.
Well, so it's not sad that they lost to United.
No, it's good for United because we need a Champions League spot
The kind of season they're having.
desperately. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we could talk about the El Shiriko later, but
Yeah, they
I
need that money so much they can't even send their own
okay,
staff to the
well,
final.
What I kind of wanted to do was we can reflect on the season and look forward to the final. So, what are your guys' like best memories, best games that we watched? Some of the moments that you guys that kicks out to you.
Can I just say, while Edgar pushes some of his best memories to the front of his cortex, Um, well, what I wanted to say is this is a message for the Man United ownership, the management group, everyone at the top. Please go drown in the river. Please drive a bus off a cliff and never come back. This is the most disappointing ownership group I've seen ever. And we're talking about Chelsea and Todd Bowley. We're talking about some other ownership groups. We're talking about groups that brought their clubs to bankruptcy. For you to be such cheap assholes running one of the most expensive franchise on the planet, not to send your staff to the final where your manager has to pay to send his own, your staff to the final. Where's your money? Sell your car, sell your boat, sell your house. What the hell are you doing? Why are you here? This is a football club. It's not a corporation. You can't be running this like a fucking Citibank. You can't tell me you're walking in there and trying to, maximize shareholder value. That's not the point of a football club. So don't give me this bullshit. Oh, we're trying to cut costs, cut expenses. Okay, you want to cut expenses? Sell your house. Do you need 5 houses? Do you need 20 cars? Sell that shit. But you tell me you can't send your hardworking people to the final, where the whole point is your team winning trophies, and the people that work for that team can't even go see the final? That's disgusting. And that is the state of this club today. And I'm sick and tired of it. So please, the Glazer family, the fucking Ineos, whatever that company is, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, go fuck yourself.
I was gonna say Sir Jim Red. Well, you could fill in the blanks that I was gonna say.
All right. Well,
what a PSA announcement to start the podcast.
Yeah, I mean that's. I will echo a lot of that sentiment. I think that for the club was so poorly run, and again, you're making it a final. I mean, Man United doesn't make that many finals anymore, so just pay for the staff to go, man. It's not like that. It's not that expensive.
It's that much money. You're gonna
listen.
Put him on...
You can get rid of like 2-3 players, and you could literally fund the whole Man United staff for like 10 years.
Fucking Bilbao. Ryanair costs £20, but like return.
Yeah, I flew from London to Ibiza for 27 fucking pounds.
Yeah.
Honestly,
calm the fuck down. That shit. What are you in the 3rd division?
There's no excuse for Man United to not be able to send their staff to a European final.
But you could listen, and as much as I actually appreciate what Casemiro has done for the club recently, but you could pay Casemiro $350K a week, but you can't pay like $30K to send your staff to a final.
Not even 30, probably 10. Not even.
Whatever, round it to 50. Who cares? This is like pocket change.
No, it's still a fraction of what players get that don't even see the pitch.
It's really sad that these people think that they could continue to do things like that and nobody will notice and nobody will lift a finger, because it's going to come to a point where the fans are just not going to show up to games. They're going to be like, well, why do we support this group? Why are we paying for ticket prices where this is how the club is treated?
Especially going on ticket prices, some of the highest in the country.
Yeah.
It's really
being 16th, 17th.
Anyway,
honestly, there's been a lot of stories where that's been coming out of United where fans are being mistreated, long-time fans or long-time.
I think I know what you're talking about. There was the, I think it was like a foundation for like either like some kind of old something. It was like charitable cause, and they were cutting like it was like $50K or something, and they cut it. I'm like, yo, come on.
There's so many things that's going wrong.
They forced Fergie out, so Fergie forfeited his salary. So even if you tell me you save that money from Fergie, you can't use some of that money to send him to the final. It's disgusting. Like literally, what are we doing? Why are we here? What's the point?
It's kind of reminds me of.
Listen, I think at this point we can move on from United. We could come back to United in more of football in terms, but yeah, honestly, disgusting behavior.
Yeah.
But anyway, some of the memorable moments, because I did actually appreciate Alex taking a couple minutes because I needed a refresh on what happened this year.
What is that? Neo Chimica is kicking in?
Yeah, I needed that Neo Chimica. I needed a sniff to get me going. I would like to maybe take at first the 2 teams in the final and maybe kind of look back at some of their path and some of the memorable games. And the first kind of memorable game I do want to look at, and this is for PSG, is I think the moment where they start to turn around their fortunes in the Champions League. And that was the comeback against Man City. They were down against Man City and had that miraculous comeback all the way to the end, won 4-2. And that's where, you kind of have Dembele resurging. You had PSG actually looking like a team, Barcola. That was when, again, they started to more or less come back into the groove of things. Then in their path, knocking out Liverpool, chef's kiss, beautiful. I think a wonderful moment for people who love football. And then honestly, after that, really, in terms of PSG's path, what Arsenal again doing the world a favor, getting rid of them. Absolutely beautiful. Honestly, playing very good football. The one thing I will say is, it's funny. They actually knocked out almost all the English teams. They knocked out Liverpool. They knocked out Aston Villa.
Not almost. They knocked out all of them.
No,
So
they knocked out all of them. Not almost, Edgar.
who's the real Farmers League?
Yeah, I got cooked by a guy farming potatoes, man. Relax.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of it. I don't think I've ever seen that happen where one team knocked out every single team from another country.
I'm pretty sure.
Another country. No, the only thing I could come close was, I think, was it 3 years ago when Real Madrid knocked out all the champions of every league.
Yeah.
I think it was they knocked out Man City. They knocked out, I think it was Bayern Munich at the time. They knocked out Bayern Munich. They knocked out Chelsea. Like, they knocked out basically all the big boys.
He was a champion a couple years ago.
Chelsea. That was like, what are you talking about?
No. I'm saying they knocked out Man City. They knocked out Bayern Munich. So they still played Chelsea. I think it's Chelsea with the champions. Chelsea with the Champions League holders, I think.
I remember.
Yeah, so I was like, they knocked out basically all the. Anyways, in terms of Inter, honestly, I will say there's not a lot of super memorable games for Inter in my mind. The one that I do kind of remember was their loss to Leverkusen in the group stage, because that's when we were in Europe.
Oh yeah.
We
could have went to that game.
Yeah, we thought about going to that game. Other than that, I mean, really, Inter, of course, beat Arsenal, so bravo, doing good stuff for the world. Other games that, I think are super memorable for this campaign. The Barcelona-Benfica game. Even the both ties. I know there was one in the group stage and then the one in the playoffs. Again, good games.
I was going to come back to that. I was like, Barca's been close to getting knocked out. Not very, a few times. Not just the game against Inter. They just play this dicey football. And if the striker on the other team puts it away, they're like,
listen, if Guirassy didn't choke in the first game against Barca would have been knocked out there too.
Yeah.
What else? We have to, of course, mention the Real Madrid Atalanta game that we attended live. So that is, of course, extremely memorable.
Very memorable.
Besides that, I'm honestly trying to think if there's anything that was really. I will say, I will give Liverpool a little bit of plaudits. I know they played all the big boys there during the group stage and they do pretty well.
I would say that's for flowers for Liverpool for going undefeated in the league portion, right? They went undefeated, right?
Yeah. No. They lost their last game against Eindhoven.
Oh, well, no. Let's take those flowers back.
I think. Yeah. Actually, nobody went undefeated. Yeah. Take back the flowers, man. But yeah, look, they beat Real Madrid in the group stage. They played a bunch of other big teams, and they did really well. So, other than that, honestly, we could, of course, give plaudits to Lille. I know Lille did do very well in the group stage, and, unfortunately, they didn't make it much further. But, hey, gotta start somewhere.
Listen, there's winners and there's losers, but at the end of the day, I think a club like Lille and how they made it that far, I think it's a win for them.
And, just as a competition as a whole, before I maybe shift the talking to Alex.
How could you forget the most iconic?
No. Hold on. Well, hold on. First, I want to actually give a lot of applause to the French teams this season because we always kind of shit on the French teams. Is Alex there?
That's funny.
There.
He's just looking.
Someone walking past Pep in the stadium. You bold rat. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, well, I thought you froze.
No, froze, man.
Listen, the French teams this season, honestly, in the Champions League, PSG, Lille, Monaco, Brest,
but when it mattered, when they got to the playoffs, only PSG delivered. Everyone else got knocked out right away. So
to be fair, Brest got knocked out against PSG. So
yeah, that was unfortunate.
We expected more of Lille and Monaco because Lille and Monaco had beatable teams. Monaco played Benfica, from what I remember, in the first round. And it was pretty good.
I think Juventus? No.
Lille play Dortmund, and that Dortmund team was also inconsistent.
Oh, yeah.
So we thought they were gonna get past
They weren't
Dortmund.
that good, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll
That's
give the
it.
French teams plaudits, but I think after the group stages, we had so much praise for them, and then they all kind of fell off, except for PSG, who we didn't give plaudits to.
That's true.
We were
But-
kind of on like they're gonna choke eventually.
Yep.
Yeah, out of that, I mean, I don't know Hassan, what game you're alluding to, but I kind of nothing really pops up in my mind.
No, I wasn't alluding to a game. I was alluding to a team that's been a meme all year. Well, you already mentioned them.
Oh, Brest.
Yeah,
Brest? Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I mentioned, but yeah, honestly, again, I expected
think
I
it's
expected
been-
a lot less from the French teams, but they delivered.
Yeah, we won't have Brest next season, but we'll have Nice. So in
Mm,
a way, it'll be a nice Brest.
yeah, yeah.
Back-to-back seasons.
Mm.
I really thought we were talking about Europa League today. I came
could
prepared
talk
for
about
the
Europa League.
whole different tournament because I know the finals on Wednesday.
Why?
so
Yeah, this is the Europa League podcast. We'll mention the Europa League, but this
mean-
isn't the Europa.
I figure we're doing a preview since the winner is going to be in Champions League next year. So kind of trying to.
No, we'll preview the Europa League too. We'll get there.
But my best memories in Champions League, I mean, you guys know I love when smaller clubs make Champions League, so it's always a big highlight. Seeing teams like Girona, Bologna, Brest make it. Aston Villa come back after so many years, and honestly, Villa did really good this year. They did not look out of place at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they could secure another Champions League spot for next season. I want to see Villa, not Chelsea or Man City. So that'll be
Or
nice.
Tottenham or United.
hey, watch where you're going there. But yeah, it's always nice to see new teams. Obviously, some of them are a little more disappointing, like Bratislava or Sturm Graz, or
Yeah.
trying to
Wait,
think. Like,
so
yeah,
as you know, speaking of Villa, they have that fifth spot unless they're gonna lose it because Tottenham or United is gonna win a title, right?
nope. Top 5 go regardless.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's gonna be basically Tottenham or United gonna be the 6th.
So
It's
there's one
it's a
game
new
left.
rule.
Then it's between City and Villa or Chelsea too. So
Yo,
it's like,
I pray Villa goes through and City gets stuck in Europa League.
My
oh,
my ideal scenario would be for City and Chelsea to finish 6th and 7th. I don't know if Nottingham
Oh yeah,
Forest-
Man City in Europa League, Chelsea in the con.
Because the final game, Forest play Chelsea at home, so
Yo,
technically they could leapfrog them.
yeah, they could.
But
I mean, but if Chelsea win the Conference League, they go to
honestly,
Europa League.
I really thought
Yeah.
the Forest were gonna pull through till the latter half of the season, but they just they kind of fell out.
yeah, and then their owner ran onto the field with a gun, ready to shoot some people.
Isn't he American?
Nah, he's Greek, man. Greek.
He wanted to
no,
be
Greek,
American. That was his American.
I mean, listen, he might have a Greek passport, but that action was pure-blooded American.
Yeah. No, but I think honestly, like I always, we watch ESPN, watch ESPN FC in the past, and I have nothing against the show, but like some of the contributors to the show, like especially the British ones, all season long they were crying about, oh, this Champions League format sucks. It's all about making more money. It sucks for the English teams. I'm like, fuck your English teams. I'm here to watch football. I don't care about your English teams. All they care about is like, oh, how it makes the English teams look. Yeah, you fucking run a Farmers League. No wonder your teams are shit. But
Yeah.
this was probably the most surprising Champions League campaign because nobody knew what was coming. We had a ton of games. We had a ton of goals. We had some intrigue. Some of it kind of took away. But that final day of the group stage where we had was it 19 games at the same time, 18 games? That was
Mhm.
incredible. Like, you're never going to see anything like that ever again anywhere else. 18 games, and most of those teams are top-notch teams. So it's not just 18 games where you're watching Brentford, Ipswich sweat it out for a 0-0 draw. These are really good teams playing against each other. So whatever those English, and we know the English media sucks ass. So
Oh, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
they want to
Oh, they
complain
do.
about, suck on it. Honestly, suck on it. This is the best league ever, and
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, considering that how much criticism it received at the beginning of the year, this format and this, having more teams, it kind of over delivered.
I think
And-
so.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would.
Think about it, because in the old format, we would have 6 games in the league, group stage, wherever they used to call
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and then it would just go straight to the knockout stage, and we wouldn't get Champions League football for 3 months between
Yep.
December and March. So there would be a big gap, and this way they kind of bridge the gap, and
Well-
it's not like the games aren't competitive.
No,
Very
it's,
good
it's it's in terms of like the fixture congestion, which is something we talked about earlier in the podcast. Yeah, maybe it's not great, but in terms of just the product itself that's being put out there, I much prefer having, let's say, a team plays 8 other teams randomly.
Listen, I'll tell you
Then, for
this.
example, have a group. Sometimes if you guys remember in like the previous years, you have groups where like you're not interested at all. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Monaco, Crvena Zvezda, Leipzig, and like whatever.
Arsenal.
Well,
Yeah, Arsenal. Yeah, like this group is used. I don't care about this group at all. But here it's actually like it makes sense. Like every game week actually has something interesting at least.
I was gonna say the quality of football is better. Rather than think about it.
Yeah.
Do you really want to watch the 5th round of the EFL Cup?
Wait, what? What? How did that come about?
No, but that's what usually happens around that time when there's.
Oh
a-
yeah. 'Cause we're talking about like December, January.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You have like FA Cup replays in
Yeah,
North
yeah,
London.
and then every
Oh yeah,
team plays where,
Swindleton Town versus
yo, the
Oxley
teams-
Bridge.
like the teams are getting off trains, going to like neighbors' backyards, getting
yeah
to
the train
stadiums.
stops.
Yo, that sounds like Yankee Stadium. No, but yeah, I think one thing you guys mentioned, the gap we used to have between December and early spring. It's nice that we have those games, but at the same time, it's a disadvantage for lower leagues and colder countries. So I'm thinking about Eastern Europe and Nordic countries. Because of the brutal winters, they don't play in the winter. So for them to come out for those games is a lot more challenging because they do take a break. So having
Right.
those 2 games in January is not as easy as the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
5 who continuously
Right.
play throughout the season.
But that is, yeah, it's a consideration, but it's rather extreme and doesn't. Again, if it affected like half the teams, you would be like, yeah, maybe it's not the best, but it is kind of like an edge case.
I agree with you, but at the same time, this does show that UEFA is still favoring elitism over the
But
smaller
you
leagues.
can't
'Cause
help
they're like,
everybody.
yeah,
There's
they're
too
like
many
they're like,
teams,
oh
there's
well,
too many countries.
they're like, well, the top leagues are playing, so why the fuck do we care about the Norway league or the
I don't think it's
Ukrainian
like
league?
that. It is if there's a competition, there's a game. You have to come out and play. And if
But If it's physically impossible in your country to
then
play,
you
because
postpone it.
middle of January is like
Okay,
negative
yeah.
30 and snowing outside.
How many
What are you
games
gonna
were
do?
played in middle of January? And,
Yeah,
negative
you
30?
do warm weather training in Dubai.
You go play in
No,
Mallorca.
but, like, which teams? Like, okay, I understand you, but
So,
which
for
teams-
example, Bodo Glimt, they're going to be in Champions League next year. They're in the playoff round. So,
Yeah.
Bodo Glimt, that's play a home game in January. How do you do that?
You put on some socks, son.
Put fucking sides.
Yeah, you get on the field.
You heat up the field and let it go.
The field's been
Listen,
frozen for a month.
Listen,
What are you
just give a complimentary pint to anybody, to all adults or fans entering the game.
But yeah, that and also the Norwegian league, for example, they don't play in the winter. They don't start until like March. So the team is not. It's not only that it's cold, but the team is also cold themselves.
It's
They haven't
off season,
played in,
yeah.
like, yeah.
I mean,
It's
those
tough.
are some things that, again,
Yeah.
that's for the executive body to figure out. It's not for a bunch of pint drinkers like us to meddle with.
It's just no, because if we're
What's the
talking about like,
problem? It comes with the territory. If you're gonna have games around that time, there's gonna be teams in Europe that's not gonna be able to play home games. So
Right.
you, as an executive body, which is quote unquote UEFA, well, figure it out.
Well, it's
Shit,
not
you guys
quote,
make a
unquote,
bunch
it
of money.
is UEFA. There's no quotes. It is UEFA.
Oh, trust me, there's other people behind that shit.
You want to give me some names?
No, we're not getting banned. Anyways, we can move on from this and we could preview one of the finals like Alex wanted. Let's
What
talk
do you mean,
about the
What do you mean like I won? It's a big final, man. You can't
yeah.
just-
Well, it's one of the finals where we talk about. So we always mentioned the Europa League in the past, so it's a continuing theme. So one of the finals is this Wednesday. The Basque region is, So what
It's
are
not
your-
buzzing.
It's not buzzing though. They're pretty.
It's not
disappointed.
buzzing.
You better hope that United get out of there with the trophy, with their limbs attached.
I don't want to sound overconfident, but Man United losing a European final to Tottenham, I just don't see it.
Yeah, but then again, honestly, with the way that these teams have been playing, I don't see anybody winning.
Honestly, if United gives Tottenham a trophy, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that's
So for all the good that's been done for football this year, we
Yeah.
can't have Tottenham win a
that
trophy.
statement you made, football is back. Nah, football is back. Football is gone.
it's hard to see. Like United have lost European finals, obviously, but they've lost to proper football teams. Tottenham's not a
Yeah,
problem.
but United lost to Tottenham, I think, three
But-
times this season already, or 4 times.
Is United a proper football team these days?
No. Yo, listen, you have Tottenham and Man United battling in relegation. They both lost their last 2 EPL games.
No. The question is United a proper team in Europa League this year? The answer is
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, yeah, listen, the only undefeated team in Europe, so
So
Oh,
yeah, I
really?
mean, I don't care what they're doing in the Prem. The Prem's been lost since January, so I don't even know
it was
why.
January.
It
It's
was
like
way before
October.
January. I think we're looking the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks.
Okay, so why do we care about what happens in the Prem? They're clearly a different team in Europa League, so we focus on Europa League because they don't
It's
come
kind
out
of
with the
like
same
it's kind of
energy.
like that season where Jose Mourinho won the Europa League.
Yeah,
Nothing mattered in the Prem, but when it came to the Europa League final, they kind of delivered. And won
Exactly.
the trophy, and they were in the Champions League next year.
and that's what happens. Like even in the best of years, I'm thinking about like the best AC Milan teams would finish outside of like title contention, Serie A, but then they go
Yo,
smack everyone in
Okay,
Europe.
let's be real. You were rigging the league at that point. when
No,
they
but
were-
but I'm just saying, like the best of cup teams. Like once you're focused on the cup, like you don't care what happens in the league.
no,
You know, like it is what it
Yeah.
is. Like, whatever. Like
once
United
you out
got
of the
their eyes on
contention,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. My prediction is United is
Yeah.
gonna win like by a single goal. It's not gonna be, you know, it's not maybe 2-0, but I don't think it's gonna be anything more than that.
So let's give it a perspective on the Tottenham side, Edgar. What are you thinking?
Tottenham's listen, to be fair,
I don't think
We're
most
not biased here. We're not going to
no,
be
listen,
biased.
no. I can go for some from Tottenham's side. To be fair, I do believe they have less injuries to worry about, so they have kind of a more full team. I know United right now is struggling with injuries.
Mhm.
Tottenham, while they haven't had these peaks that Man United had, they didn't have the troughs, so they kind of have been more stable in the Europa League, and even in the Premier League, I feel like they've been underperforming in some cases. Where, especially you guys remember the beginning of the season, they were scoring goals. It's just they were conceding much more than they were scoring.
Isn't it crazy that like one of the high scoring teams is like 17th?
Yeah,
Besides
dude.
Barca.
I think that it's like they're the only team that actually has a super positive goal difference, but they're like literally one spot above relegation.
Yeah, I'm curious. They scored 63 goals,
Yeah,
which is more than
Well,
everyone
okay,
in
I'm
like
gonna- it's their goal to their plus minus is 63, 61. So they
Yeah.
scored 63, they conceded 61.
yeah. So they score as many as like Arsenal in second, but then they conceded twice as many as Arsenal in second.
but this is what I mean. I think they actually have the attacking capability, just that they had a lot of problems with defending. Now they have, I think, shored up defensively recently. And the problem with, you could say against United doesn't really create a lot of chances. United does rely on kind of these big moments to happen. And if they don't find it, I think, if this game was played 10 times and they said, the winner, whoever wins more than 5 takes, I think Tottenham would take it. But in a one-off, Man United does have a chance. But then
Well,
again,
you can see-
Tottenham, I think Tottenham, like if you ask me if I was to put money on who's going to win, I'd actually put on Tottenham, unfortunately. I think Tottenham is a more stable team than United. I think they can produce.
They could produce goals. They could produce goals.
See the thing, they could produce goals. I can't say the same thing about Man United. I can't say the same because there are times where Man United looks like they should be playing with, they should be playing Ligue 1. So I'm telling you, I think actually Tottenham has a better chance. I think, again, their attack seems to be a bit more cohesive. They actually have players who can score. Brennan Johnson can score goals. Dominic Solanke is doing pretty well. Heung-min Son doing pretty well. Their midfield is pretty damn solid. Pedro Porro is contributing offensively. Vicario, I think, is a much better keeper than Onana. Their defense, what is it? I think Van der Ven is coming back. Romero is pretty good. Like they have a solid team. They have. You rarely see Tottenham not score. That's what I will say.
I saw
You
them
rarely
outscore
see Tottenham-
Villa 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know that. But again, did you see the team? They feel like their B team.
Yeah, but you say you rarely see them not score.
No, I'm not saying you never see it. I say
That was one of the rare occasions.
it's one of the rare occasions. Exactly. No, but really, like think about it, 61 goals they score. Like it's not out of nothing. And like you said, 63 goals would take them. 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 They scored more goals than Villa. They scored the same amount of goals as Chelsea. I think literally there's only one, two, three. There's only 6 teams that scored more than Tottenham this season. It's Brentford, Brentford, City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool.
There's 6 teams that score more, but there's 16 sitting above them in the table.
Well, that's because do you remember what was that game? I think was it against Man City that they played where they went down a man and then they just kept playing
No, I think it was against Chelsea. Was it against Chelsea?
Do you remember that game was in the beginning of the season where they went a man down
No. They went down 2 men. It wasn't just one.
Oh, and they kept playing.
He kept playing, and they kept playing high, and then Chelsea just caught him a few times.
So that's what I mean. I think in terms of football, playing football, I think Tottenham has a better chance. So Tottenham scores again. They concede a lot, but then again, Man United. I'm looking at the last couple of games Man United had outside of Europa League. What do you have? You have getting absolutely crushed by Newcastle. You lost 1-0 to Wolves. You drew with Bournemouth. You lost to Brentford 4-3. Okay, that game maybe they should have won or at least tied.
You lost to West Ham.
You lost to West Ham, and then you lost 1-0 to Chelsea. That's the thing. Man United doesn't score a lot of goals. Look at it, 42 goals.
Europa League, they have 7 goals against Bilbao.
Against the best defense in La Liga.
Yeah, I remember when Edgar was saying, "Oh, Lyon, there's no way we're gonna get past Lyon. We got past Lyon."
Listen, I'm not gonna say. Listen, that was miraculous, but let's be honest. If we're looking at the game against Lyon, first of all, that was not a red card for Tolisso, so there's no way Lyon should have been playing with 10 men.
Really?
Do you remember? It wasn't a red card.
Hey man.
So
all I remember is the final score. I don't remember who got a red card, why they get a red card, and how many.
It's times. Like that example how Madrid won 3 in a row. You really think?
Do you remember any of the games? Yeah. Do you remember any of the games?
I do.
Well, then you're a salty person because I don't remember any of the games.
Aggie's gonna be 67, gonna tell his grandkids that wasn't a penalty against Atletico.
And his kid's 15, man. They got 15.
No, you're asking me about the Lyon game, and I'm telling you my opinion about the Lyon game. I think, it's great that Man United came back. Fantastic, but let's be honest. It was dicey, and they shouldn't have been playing with 10 men.
You have to take this in consideration. These guys showed up in Europa League. Regardless of what happened in the league, FA Cup,
listen, undefeated in Europe.
Whatever cup they played in England, they showed up in Europa League. And they've been scoring goals. So your complaint on how they're not going to score a goal, well, if you look at the games of Europa League, they've been scoring plenty. So
That's
I
fair.
don't know what it is, what the players feel, if they're drinking that Neoquímica before the games.
That good stuff, yeah.
The good stuff.
All right, yeah.
I think it's a tale of 2 competitions, and they've been performing pretty well in Europa League, and I think they're the favorite to win it.
Okay,
on their form in just the Europa League, not anywhere else. Just the Europa League.
You know what? I'm actually looking at the Europa League forms for both teams, and trying to see. Yeah, listen, Man United does look a little bit better in the Europa League. I'm not gonna lie, but again, you said make a case for Tottenham. I made a case for Tottenham.
No, and I'm defending. I'm just being the neutral guy. I'm being neutral. I'm Swiss.
Other managers too.
Well, to be fair, Tottenham should have gotten blown up by the Bodo fans with the fireworks.
Oh yeah, that was.
They should have.
The one thing I will say at least about Man United, I think if you look at the fixture list that Tottenham had and the Man United had, I think Man United actually had a much tougher.
In the Prem?
No. In the Europa League, because look, Tottenham's last couple of games were Bodo Glimt. Okay, Frankfurt was Frankfurt's a good team from Germany. They played AZ Alkmaar.
Tottenham's playing a bunch of potato farmers.
Yeah, they did. Elfsborg, Hoffenheim, Rangers. Listen, Rangers, Roma. Yeah, okay. To be fair, yeah, that's fine. But in terms of when you got out of the group stages, out of the when you got to the playoff stage, let's just say that, actually had some. We played Sociedad, played Lyon, and we played Atletico Bilbao.
Honestly,
that is actually pretty damn tough. I'm not gonna lie.
It's crazy. You play two of the Basque teams, and
We eliminated the whole region.
You know,
now you got to go in there. The winner
you know what's funny though? Man United always had problems with Spanish teams, but this season knocked out two of them.
Oh yeah, we knocked out every Spanish team in Europa League then.
Oh, there you go.
We're like PSG, bro. Farmers League.
All right, let's move on to the main event. 2.5 weeks. I
Well, we're
would
still
say.
gonna have an episode next week, no? Like the final preview.
Yeah, but let's look on. Oh, you guys want to do a finals episode differently?
No, we're gonna have a final preview next week, right? And then we could, discuss the result of the Europa League final. But if we still have next week, so I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay. All right.
That's fine by me. Yeah.
Let's be like Netflix.
We
See you
could do
next
it.
season.
Wait 9 months.
Do it 9 months. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. If that's all we want to talk about, then yeah, we'll preview the big game PSG Inter on the next episode.
If you want to hear our thoughts and our opinions, let's just say now. I think we have better opinions than a lot of these people's out there. Let's be honest. Sky Sports, ESPN FC.
Who says we have better opinion? That's such a subjective thing.
I know.
My opinions are better than yours.
Listen, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
I'll just say the English media is wild, and I don't agree with them. That's all.
Oh no! Honestly, that's the one thing. No. I think the American media, I can't intolerable, and then the English media, I think just as intolerable. I don't know. They're paying these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could honestly, I would agree. Hassan could probably give them a better opinion.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say again, and hats off to Crystal Palace. That's I think one of the greatest stories of this year. And like Alex said, football is winning.
Yep.
And when stuff like that happens, it makes you happy. It makes you want to watch football, and it makes you want to be in. It's entertainment value at its finest.
It just
Sure, honestly,
warms your soul. Yeah.
This season, to be fair though, has been wildly entertaining. Just to kind of wrap up, we are the absolute resurgence of Barcelona. You have the big, still up in the air, like Serie A title race.
Yeah.
With
How is that going? Is it?
Well, it's 2 games left, but you had this almost resurgence of PSG without Mbappe. Everyone's saying, PSG is done without Mbappe, but look at them. You got the absolute crash and burn of Real Madrid. The English league actually. To be fair, listen, I know Liverpool, whatever, but still played some amazing football. You have Aston Villa doing great in the league and in the Champions League. Man City crashing and burning. Bologna losing some of their best players and still I think the Champions League spot again.
They can still get it. They can still get it.
I was gonna point out your favorite, the resurgence of Scott McTominay.
Oh, dude, McTerminator. Oh
man, what a season he's been having.
McFratham.
Oh my god, that guy just scores goals. It reminds me of like that young Frank Lampard. Just makes these runs, bangs goals.
Listen.
If he wins, that'll be his first ever league title, right? He's never won a league title before.
No.
Wow.
Was he
imagine him, going to Napoli and bringing the first title back. That'd be amazing.
The Europa League
pretty
title?
cool.
No, I think he did win the Europa League, yeah, but
no, I mean like the league title.
Yeah, like a league title, exactly. Yeah. And again, what else? Betis playing some sensational football with the
resurgence of Anthony.
Our Lord Savior Anthony.
Hashtag the GOAT. I'm telling you, this season has actually been from a neutral perspective, has been extremely enjoyable.
It's been one of the more memorable seasons of football that I've experienced.
Yeah, because again, most of the time you have it's the same thing. Man City crushing the Farmers League in England, PSG dominating, even though they're kind of crap in Europe. Okay, but maybe the last couple of years, Serie A has been super entertaining. That's the only league that actually keeps something of value.
Most competitive, would you say?
Yeah, because think about it. You had Milan winning it a few years ago. You had Inter won it after that.
Atalanta won it.
Napoli won it was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
I think they've had 4 or 5 different champions in the past 4 or 5 years.
Well,
so honestly, it's the only league that's
who wasn't a champion.
Who?
Juve.
Yeah, Juve, man.
What? Remember you said they fell off a cliff after 2020 or something?
Yeah, they fell off a cliff.
Honestly, it's true though. It feels like they after their whole kind of old guard left, it's like nobody picked up the pieces.
Well, there's a
Well-
reason why they're called the old lady, not the young lady.
Well, I'm sure there's different adjectives to describe that, but we're not gonna get into that.
Well, no, so I mean, like the reason they do so well is because the old guard, not the young guard. So yeah, they
Yeah.
brought young guys, but I
It's
think
true.
disappointing.
Something more. But said, Roma under what is it?
Dilly ding,
Uh,
dilly dong.
Ding ding dang, Ranieri.
Hey, if he brings them to Champions League, I'll be happy too. If either Roma or Bologna get that Champions League spot, I'll
No,
be
again, the other teams to mention are super. Not maybe
Yeah,
not super
you gotta
entertaining, but
go.
still. No, listen, Forest. Some Champions League heritage coming back into the Champions League.
I hope they get it. Honestly, I don't want City in Champions League.
I think Newcastle winning the first trophy in 70 years, something to mention, and being in Champions League spot.
I'm telling you,
Again-
like this
again,
this season
it's-
actually has winners of look at the DFB Pokal final. You have either Stuttgart gonna win it or you're gonna have what was
I
it
love
Kiel?
Arminia Bielefeld.
Arminia Bielefeld, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that are up and coming, and they're making basically we're witnessing history that we won't get to see. We don't get to see this often. Let's just be
Yeah,
real.
because you usually have your big boys just sweeping all the trophies every year.
Man City with the quadruple,
Oh.
whatever the fuck they won.
But this is why we watch football, because of stories like this. We don't watch football to see Man City as fuck everyone for 4 years. We don't.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see that.
I
know.
agree. Nobody wants to see that,
Nobody wants to see Madrid win the Champions League year in and year out. You want to see
Well-
something new happen.
except they do it. But
Well,
Wait, what else we gotta mention? We gotta mention Arsenal winning the second place 3 years in a
yeah.
row, I think.
no,
Or-
in a
People in
way,
Europe?
I want Tottenham to win the Europa League so we could say, look, even though they finished 17th, they still got more trophies than you.
I mean, either way, we're gonna have two memes. It's either Tottenham are still shit and they never won anything, or we're gonna have a new meme of Tottenham has more trophies than Arsenal in Europe.
well, if Crystal Palace goes to Europa League next year and wins it,
They got more trophies than
that would be so. That would be. I mean, West Ham's got more trophies than Arsenal in Europe.
Nottingham.
true.
though.
Conference
Nottingham too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's winning Europe except for Arsenal.
Good. Fuck them.
I think there's been like every region in England has a winner in Europe except for North London.
Good. Keep that
Because
way.
now we have South London, we have
Yeah.
East London, we have West London. 'cause
No.
Chelsea won it.
West Ham is technically no. Okay, it's more like Central London, right? The Olympic
There's still one
Stadium.
more. There's still
West
one.
London because Chelsea's won it. You
Yeah,
have the Central region because the
West Ham.
Wizards-
it's West Ham. Yeah.
No, I mean
Well,
like, but
'cause-
then you go outside of London, you have the Manchester clubs, you have Liverpool, you have like Nottingham. Trying to think, Villa's won it.
Liverpool.
Everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
Liverpool. Yeah, man. The only one region letting everyone down.
Probably for the better.
Yeah.
And on that massive bombshell, it's time to end. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys. Tune in next week where we preview the final and we give our expert analysis on the final.
Yeah, Hassan, I better expect to see you in a suit.
Oh, I'll be in a suit Friday night.
Anyways,
On that note,
we'll see you all next week.
please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll get back to you. Or we may not. Take care, everybody.